Hi, it's Dr. Collado. Today I want to talk about prayer as training. I remember many years ago, I read one of the articles, or it was probably an interview to the late Walter Mercado. And, he was talking about prayers, and he said prayer is just a tool to be trained, like a training tool when it comes to spirituality. And that stuck with me. So far, I've met three kinds of people, or I have three kinds of people in my life. Those are one, the ones that just pray, they just use these prayers that they learn at home as they grew up. Those that don't like praying, the word prayer is almost like something negative, and they meditate. And those like me that either use a prayer that it's already written, that it's meaningful to them, and also meditate depending on the circumstances. Um, so, when it comes to praying, I think of the idea of a cookie cutter. So, a cookie cutter is a something, in certain shape or form that is mass produced that helps us bake cookies, right? So, if you're not a baker and you want to have make some cookies, for them to look pretty and have some sort of shape or form, you may use these cutters, these cookie cutters, but some people don't like that. They want to be more creative, so they go, they use other techniques to design to form the cookies and bake them that way. Either way is fine. It depends on what we need. At the end of the day, what matters is the ingredients, the procedure, and the practice, the experience as we bake the cookies, right? What's on the inside, and it we have to do what works for us. So praying is like that. The problem that I see with praying is that sometimes these prayers are given to us, are passed on from one generation to the other through our religious practices, the ones that were part of our home. In my case, I grew up Catholic, and I remember learning several prayers, memorized them, and just because I needed to like do the first communion, so I needed to memorize these prayers, not thinking, not processing what the prayer says. I don't recall ever sitting down to break down the Lord's Prayer, Padre Nuestro, to understand what it means and what it meant to me. So it wasn't until I grew up and that I actually sat down. I remember that advice. The prayers are just a training tool. And I started breaking down, for example, Padre Nuestro, the Lord's Prayer, and noticed that there are things in there that are like common advice nowadays. So for example, living in gratitude and in knowing that the universe has you covered and that you have everything what you need. That's in that line that says danos el pan nuestro de cada día, give us our daily bread. That's exactly what that means. Not for a month, not for less than a day, just exactly what I need each day. So by stating that, you're showing gratitude, and you're also trusting that like that greater power has you covered. There's also a statement about forgiveness. Um, Perdona nuestras ofensas, así como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. So there is a Hawaiian practice, meditation, that it's wonderful, that's focuses on forgiveness, and it's great. However, if that is not something that relates to your culture, it's not something that maybe you have time for, there's that two-sentence statement that talks about forgiveness and exercise forgiveness. So I'm not selling the Lord's Prayer. What I'm saying is that we are given these tools at our homes, through our cultures, that sometimes we don't pay attention to, or that we're so used to that we don't value them. So and we forget, and we don't really need a guru or a scientist to tell us, based on research, what we have to do. These tools have been given to us. So today is an invitation for you to look at those prayers, mantras, sayings that you were brought up at home that maybe they didn't mean anything because you memorize them, everybody said them, and it's like a chant, and you said them as papagayo, as a rooster, like over and over and again, and see if you find anything that serves you today. And if you do, read them, use them, make a decision, a choice to say them once a day, or maybe when the time of despair comes, so that it helps you shift from a negative, sad place to a place where you want to be mentally and emotionally. If they don't serve you, if they're useless for you, then find some that that work for you within your religious practice, spiritual beliefs, culture, or you know um, borrow from another one. We have a great tool that is an internet that helps us do that. So today I'm going to share some of my favorite prayers and mantras in different languages, of course. And maybe you can borrow some from there. And let's keep it simple. Let's just keep it simple. Go back to the basics, to what we were taught, and take what helps us from there. Okay, bye.